Hey guys, it's Cameroon and welcome back to another video. Now the second week of the Overwatch League Summer Stage is coming up, and that means it's time for some more pick'ems. Now if you don't know what this video is about or haven't watched any of my other pick'em videos, I basically go over the current Overwatch League week and give my predictions with a little bit of explaining to why I made them. Now that the first week is done, I have a better understanding of what's being played, so hopefully I can give better predictions this time around. The first week was all over the place with Houston losing both games, Valiant getting their first win against the Gladiators, and Eternal actually showing some promise, especially with their new DPS Knife. He seems kind of cracked at Overwatch. So honestly, it's an exciting time to get into Overwatch League, and it's going to make predicting a little bit more complicated. Now, if you don't have a lot of time to listen to me explain everything, just like every other prediction video, I'll have a chapter where you can skip ahead to see my pick'ems. If you end up doing that, maybe just leave a like on the video, and if you want more, subscribing is always a nice way to let me know. And as always, if you are new to pick'ems or the Overwatch League in general, you can check out these two videos on the screen to set up your YouTube rewards and pick'ems. Also, when it comes to my predictions, I could always be wrong with them, so if you believe a different team will win, predict for them. Now, let's get into the second week of the summer stage, or week 10. I'll start with the East region first, since their games start first. Okay, for the first match, we have Guangzhou Charge versus Seoul Inferno. I think Seoul Inferno is going to win this. They have shown that they are the strongest team in the league right now. Guangzhou is falling a little behind. They ended up losing 3-0 against Hangzhou Spark, which I didn't think was going to happen. So I'm going to go for Seoul Inferno, and I think they'll win 3-1. Then after that, we have the Dallas Fuel versus Shanghai Dragons. Shanghai, you have Fate now. You have an actual tank player who's really good at the game, but Dallas Fuel has been getting their strengths back again. They're playing better, and they're playing a little bit more cohesively, and Shanghai, you have it. So I'm going to give Dallas Fuel a win, and I think they're going to win 3-0. And for the last match on Friday, we have two Contenders teams facing each other, which is the Dreamers versus Poker Face Gaming. I personally believe that the Dreamers are going to win. I don't know too much about these Contenders teams, but I know that Dreamers is actually 2-0 right now. They've been playing great so far, so I think they're going to win 3-1. Then on the next day, we have O2 Blast versus Seoul Inferno. Seoul Inferno, again, is a very strong team. I didn't realize this last week. O2 Blast has lost a bunch of their players because they've been picked up for the Overwatch League, and they've been struggling with their new roster. So I personally believe that the Seoul Inferno are going to win 3-0. Then we have the Guangzhou Charge versus Panthera. Panthera seems to be another Contenders team that is struggling right now, so I personally believe Guangzhou Charge. They're a very solid team still. Jimmy's great. I think the Charge are going to win 3-0. Then we have the Hangzhou Spark versus the Seoul Dynasty. Seoul Dynasty is another team that is struggling right now, while Hangzhou Spark is popping off. They're playing great right now. They have Leave and Shy, and of course Gushwei. So I personally believe Spark are going to win this 3-1. Then we have the Shanghai Dragons versus Poker Face Gaming. This is where I apply the rule that the Overwatch League team should always beat the Contenders team. So I'm going to give it to Shanghai Dragons 3-2. It'll be a close match, but I'm going to put my faith in Fate, and I think he's going to help the team actually win against PFG. Then we have the Dallas Fuel versus the Dreamers. Now, I'm a believer in Dreamers. I'm a dreamer in Dreamers, or whatever you want to say. I think they're a great team. I want them to succeed, so I'm betting for them to win this match regardless. I think it's going to be a close match with the Dreamers winning 3-2. Now, if Dallas Fuel wins, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm a believer in Dreamers. Then we have the Hangzhou Spark versus Panthera. I'm sorry, Panthera. Hangzhou Spark, again, has an incredible team. They're going to win 3-0. And lastly, we have O2 Blast versus Seoul Dynasty. I think Seoul Dynasty is going to win this match. O2 Blast, again, has been struggling. They don't have the same roster anymore, so I think Seoul Dynasty is going to win 3-1. Now let's move on to the West. We got 9 games to go through, so let's do it. The first match we have on Friday is going to be San Francisco Shock versus the LA Valiant. Shock has been showing some promise right now. They've been playing quite well. Junbin has been doing great right now. They've also been swapping between Max again, and it seems to finally be working rather than before in the spring stage where it kind of didn't make much sense. But I don't think the Shock are going to win 3-0. Valiant have been doing okay. Now, I know they did lose to Toronto Defiant 3-0, but them beating Gladiators isn't something we should just ignore. I think it's going to be 3-1 for the Shock, but Valiant are going to make this close. Then we have the Boston Uprising versus the Toronto Defiant. Toronto, with the addition of Spectra and Opener, is definitely an upgrade to their previous team. They've been playing better. Spectra is popping off. Like that 5K with his Echo on Busan was incredible. And if Vegas Eternal is able to get a map on Boston Uprising, I think that they should be able to get 2. I still think the Uprising are going to win, and it's going to be 3-2. Then we have the Houston Outlaws versus the New York Excelsior. Now, Houston has been struggling lately, but I don't think that that's going to cause them to lose against the Excelsior. Excelsior is a very solid team, don't get me wrong, but Houston should win. They will drop a map though, because they don't have that confidence. That's what I'm feeling. So Houston will win 3-1. Then we go on to Saturday, and we have the Boston Uprising versus the Florida Mayhem. Florida Mayhem is doing incredible right now. They're playing lights out. They 3-0'd Houston. They're looking really good. And Boston also 3-0'd Houston, but Boston dropped the map to Eternal. Now, Eternal isn't like awful, especially with the new additions that they picked up, but still, you can't ignore that fact. So Florida will win this match, and they'll win it 3-1. Then we have the London Spitfire versus the San Francisco Shock. I'm sorry, Spitfire, you guys haven't been playing good Overwatch lately, and whether it's because of the meta or just something else, I don't see you guys winning this match, and I don't see you guys making it close. I think the Shock are going to win 3-0. They've been playing way better, and they have Proper. You can't really ignore that. Then we have the Atlanta Reign versus the Houston Outlaws. I don't even think this is going to be close. Unless the Houston Outlaws are just like on a whole other level, like they were before, to make this close, Atlanta Reign is going to win regardless. And I personally believe they're going to win 3-0 though. It may be close, but I think it might be a stomp, honestly. Then we have the London Spitfire versus the LA Valiant. This is where you might think the Spitfire are going to win. I don't personally believe that. I think the Valiant have shown that they are getting better. They're playing well, and if Seeker's on Sojourn every now and then, they're probably going to win matches. I think it'll be a close battle, but I think the Valiant are going to win against the Spitfire 3-2. Then we have the Atlanta Reign versus Toronto Defiant. Yeah, Toronto may take a map, but I don't see it at all, especially if Atlanta just stomps Outlaws. So I think Atlanta is going to win this 3-0. I always want to root for the underdogs, but when it's versus Atlanta Reign, it's hard to go against them. And then for the final match of the week, we have the Florida Mayhem versus the New York Excelsior. Mayhem has been playing great. There's no arguing that. New York is still a solid team, but I don't think they're going to take a map here. Mayhem is just on a very high level. Now, I don't think they'd beat the Atlanta Reign, but I think that they might be the only team that's possible at making it close right now. So I think the Mayhem are going to win 3-0. And here are my Summer Stage Week 2 pick'ems. The meta is fairly similar to what it was in the Spring Stage, so it seems like the good teams will stay good. Luckily, there has been a decent bunch of back and forths in the middle of the standings though, because of the shakeup on a bunch of teams' rosters, which is nice to see. I like not knowing exactly who's going to win matches, and with all the teams in the middle making it close, that's always nice. I do want to say though that I would love if Overwatch League actually implemented the current Overwatch 2 balance patches into it. It's kind of strange and maybe even a little annoying that they are still playing on a patch that's behind. If you don't know, they are playing on the Season 5 launch patch, which is already 2 patches behind the current game. Like, I believe the best team in the Overwatch League should be able to play through every meta and not just Sombra, Tracer, Winston, Brig, and Ana. I also want the matches to have more variety too, so hopefully in the Summer Stage knockouts, they put Overwatch League into like the Season 6 patch and it has other tanks be viable. Remember, the East Region streams start on Friday, July 21st at 1 a.m. Pacific Time, 4 a.m. Eastern Time, or 9 a.m. UK Time, and the West Region streams start on Friday, July 21st at 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, or 8 p.m. UK Time. So be sure to submit your pick'ems before those times for both the East and West. Anyways, if you liked the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing. And yeah, enjoy watching the Overwatch League this weekend. I will talk to you all soon.